Hey Posh Coasters, it's Paula. I want to talk today about product sampling. It's a topic everyone is interested in because all of us pretty much do it. And it's one of the very first things that you start doing when you first join and become a consultant because you want to introduce your friends and family to the products. And really the best way to do that is by giving them samples. Now we have Laycons in your starter kit, which is great. When I first joined, we didn't get Laycons, and people were scrambling before they were actually able to find a source of Laycons. They would use all kinds of alternate containers to put their sampling in. Um, I think in the really, really olden days, people used to take a plastic spoon and scoop out some product and put it in a Ziploc bag and give it to people. But now we have these nifty little Laycons. I know a lot of people these days are using the little Mylar envelopes that are heat sealed, and those are fantastic. I'm definitely going to try those myself at some point, but I'm sticking with Laycons right now because I still have like 1,000 of them. And it's a nice way to introduce people to product. Because you're giving them a small amount, but what you're really giving them is the experience of the product. If they are looking online at the descriptions of the products or even in the catalog, it's more theoretical. The products are theoretical, whereas if you hand them a sample, they can open it up, they can smell it, they can feel how it feels on their skin when they try it, and you're giving them an experience of what the product is like, and I think that's really important. How much sampling do you need to do right away when you start? That is completely up to you. And there's no right or wrong answer. You do not have to pass out 100 million samples to 100 million people necessarily. Some people do. I personally gave out 100 million samples when I first started. But if for budgetary reasons that's not really possible for you, that's totally fine, not a problem at all. I will say that any product that you buy and you're earning PV on that product, if you use it for samples, you can write it off as a business expense on your taxes next year. So that's something to keep in mind. So you're buying product, you're getting PV on it, and you're also able to write it off. So that's pretty nice. Once I found that out, I started getting a lot more generous with the amounts that I was giving people in their samples. So you have a Laycon. This is from the portal, so this is a 3-gram Laycon from the portal. There's also other sizes of Laycons. I'm sorry, I dropped it. On some websites, you'll see them not called grams. They're by ounces. So this is approximately what a 1/9 of an ounce Laycon looks like. So 3 grams is more or less equal to a 1/9 Laycon. Also, a lot of people use this, which is a 1/20th ounce Laycon, and I think you can see there how it's much smaller. It's much thinner. It's actually the same size, like for putting labels on it and everything. It's the same size, but it's just the area where the product goes is much thinner. I use these 1/20ths sometimes for things like lip scrubs, Under Wonder, and Zit Zapper, things that you really only need to give people a little smidge of, and you don't want to give them a ton because that's really not economical for sampling for you. But some people use the 1/20ths exclusively. They don't feel like they need to give people a whole lot of product as a sample. My personal feeling is that if you gave people only this much of a body scrub, they're not getting the full effect of it because they can't use it all over their body. But some people are fine with that. Some people feel like, well, then you're just giving them enough to use on their hand, so they're at least getting to smell it, and they're getting to see how it feels when they use it on their skin, and that's really the experience that you're offering them. Whereas if you gave them this much, well, like say for a mask, you wouldn't need to fill this up to the rim with mask because that's way more than they would need for one mask. So like half of that would be enough to get over their whole face, and they would get the full experience of having done the masking. Because I guess if you give too much sample to people, then they don't need to buy, right? So you don't want to err on the side of too much, but I also feel like you kind of don't want to err on the side of too little either. So you got your Laycons. You'll need labels. This one I printed myself. You can also buy labels in the portal. Again, you can use your perks to buy portal supplies, which I really advocate, because anytime you buy product with your perks, you're not earning the PV, whereas we don't get PV for portal items anyway. So I always feel like I really advocate using your perks for portal items rather than product. So you can get labels in the portal. You can print them yourself. These are blank Avery 1-inch round labels. I get these off of Amazon. Mine are small sheets. Some people also use the 8.5 by 11 sheets of blank round labels. And some people buy them at Staples or Office Depot. I know there's some other websites that people buy them off of, but I just get mine off Amazon because I always have from the beginning. And you can print them, and you get the graphics off of the Posh box. In the Posh box, under resources, there's a folder that says make your own samples. Everything you need to know, or all the resources you need to make samples are in that folder, which is really nice. It's all in one place. So there you go. You have a Laycon and you have a label on it, and then now you fill it with product. And if you've got a squeezy bottle product like BFF, you just squeeze them in and seal it up, and then you're done. And that's always easy. If you have a different kind of product, like here's lime and the coconut. So again, smell, right? So it smells so good. So I just use craft sticks. So I use the craft stick, I dip some up, and then put it in the Laycon, seal it up. And again, if somebody's getting this as a sample and it's got lime and the coconut in it, they open it up and they're like, oh my god, it smells so good. Because that's the reaction people have with Posh is, oh my god, it smells so good. And that is really what hooks people and brings them in and makes them want to buy that product. So that's why we sample. Again, I know everybody loves portal samples. Portal samples are relatively new. When I first joined, we did not have portal samples. I remember when the first ones came out, we had Little Snarky and Stripper, and people went nuts over the portal samples. And then some of us went, well, I like making my own samples, and that way I'm earning PV. And so I kept doing it for a long time. But I agree, portal samples are very nice. So they're sealed, they look very professional, and that's terrific. Also, they don't leak. I admit I had a lot of Laycons leak on me, especially BFF. BFF leaked on me a lot as I would mail them across the country, but these are great because they don't leak. So here I go. I have a BFF and a Night and Day duo, and I've got a cackle spackle. So there I go. I've got a mini facial right there. And then I have these little bags. I got them at Target. They were like $2 for 20 or something pretty cheap. And they're poshy pink and polka dotty, so I put those in there, and there, I've got a mini facial, and there, it's a goodie bag. Everybody likes a goodie bag. Everybody wants a little treat bag. So I pass these out a lot. I pass these out at vendor shows very often. Like somebody will buy something, and then I'll be bagging up their things that they bought, and I'll say, oh, and I'm putting a mini facial in there for you too. And people love that. They're so appreciative, and they really like that. But you don't need portal samples to do that. Back in the olden days when we didn't have them, I did a million of these mini facials where here I've got a BFF and a moisturized 911, and I've got a mask. I've got an in the clear mask in there. And there's the mini facial right there, using the Laycons and using my own product. And then I've got my business card in there. And there you go. That's a mini facial you can pass out to people, and you didn't need portal samples for it. And it's in this little zip top bag, so it's convenient to just pass out. Again, these little bags, these I think were from Container Family. Container Family is a great resource for Laycons, for organza bags. Let's see, I'll show you. I don't have them right here. Okay, one moment, please. So here are my organza bags that I use for gift bags. So these come from Container Family too, and aren't they cute? And they're really super cheap. And I put some tissue in there, and I put product in there, and it becomes like a really nice gift. And I sell a lot of those at vendor events. So Container Family is a great resource. They have a Facebook page and they have a website. They have good pricing and they ship super fast. So I've gotten a lot of my Laycons from them. Also, the I buy a lot of I used to buy a lot of Laycons from a website called cosmetech.com, Kosmetech.com, and they had the best pricing I found for 3 gram Laycons. That's 5 gram Laycons that back in my more generous days I used to give people a little bit more product, especially like stripper and body scrubs. I used to put in a 5 gram Laycon. So Cosmetech had really good pricing. Their shipping is a little high, but they ship really fast. The one caveat is that the minimum amount that you can buy is 500. So I know that's a lot. They do go fast though. You can give out 500 samples in not that long a time. Also, if you want to split an order with your team members, that works out really well too. So they have really good pricing on their Laycons. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Bye bye.